Ya ini cuma anunya lapornya kemana nggak tahu. Bukan ini lah.
Perspective of its waterways. There certainly are a lot of them. This city has over 100 kilometers of canal. Amsterdam is known for being friendly, open-minded, and progressive. It's a popular place to visit and do business. Just think, in a population of only 800,000 people, you can meet 170 different nationalities.
This area's rich history adds a sparkle that's never far below the surface. During the 17th century, Amsterdam shone especially bright, like gold. This golden age was an extraordinary time. Politics, art, and business all reached new levels of sophistication.
Let's take a step back in time, a big step to the 12th century. To our left, there was nothing but vast stretches of marshland, lakes, and sea. To our right, at the mouth of the Amstel River, was an early settlement of simple huts. Settlers built a dam across the river, hence the name Amstelredam, or the dam built across the Amstel.
Now, fast forward a few hundred years. Amsterdam has grown into a fortified medieval village, complete with dikes, ditches, and canals to control the sea level. Even this far back in time, it was an important trading hub. Ships sailed back and forth across the Baltic Sea carrying grain, cloth, wood, and salt. The original wall of Amsterdam would have been to our right. During the Middle Ages, a moat, now called a singel, encircled the city. The church you see, the St. Nicholas, was built centuries later. Named after the patron saint of seafarers, it stood overlooking the harbor. Also to our right is the 15th century Schreier's Tower. This outer defense tower got its...
The centuries, much of the land around us was wrestled from the sea. To reclaim this polder, or land that was once covered by lakes and seas, industrious Amsterdammers built dikes and used windmills worldwide.
There are no train lines in Amsterdam city center, but instead concentric canals lined and crisscrossed by streets, some centuries old. Amsterdam has almost 100 kilometers or 60 miles of canal, even more than Venice.
The city grew up around Dam Square, where the Amstel River was dammed in the 13th century, giving Amsterdam its name. In Old Dutch, it means dam built across the Amstel.
Over time, land was reclaimed from the sea, ramparts were raised, and canals were dug as part of an ever-evolving city scheme.
Lagi keliling nih, lewat keliling apa namanya, kanal apa?
Amsterdam Canal Cruise.
Naik perahu.
Ini hotel.
The building with flags atop it is the former Scheepvaarthuis, or shipping house. A group of shipping companies ran their businesses. boundary was to the right. To the left, salt marsh and the North Sea. The red brick tower coming up ahead of us is the medieval Montalbanstor. An ideal lookout for sighting potential invaders, it was built to protect the city's shipyards, wharves, and warehouses from attack. From here, Dutch soldiers armed with longbows, crossbows, and early firearms called arquebuses kept watch over the wide expanses below.
The tower's white spire and clocks were added a century later. They were designed by Hendrik de Keyser, an architect whose work can be seen around Amsterdam, and who you're certain to hear more about on this cruise. The clocks couldn't keep time, and the tower's bells rang out randomly, so locals gave it the nickname Silly Jack.
Not long after the spire and clocks were added, the tower began to list to one side. With some effort, it was pulled to rights. You might be wondering why so many buildings in the city tip to one side or the other. The ground in Amsterdam, a mix of peat, sand, and soil, is very soft. Because of this, buildings were generally designed to be as light as possible. None were very tall, and they often had lots of windows. For stability, they were built on a bed of wooden piles driven as deep as 15 meters, that's 45 feet, into the ground. But if these piles were exposed to the air, they began. We are now on the Oude or Outer Trench Canal. During the 16th century, it served as a defense canal. All the city's canals served one or more of these functions, as a transportation route, a line of defense, or a way to manage water levels. The Oude Schans, because of its size and location, did all of these. Because it was one of the only canals wide enough for large ships to sail, and because of its proximity to the harbor, the Oude Schans became a convenient place to unload cargo.
1600 tuh si Ocha udah datang ya?
Exposed ceiling beams. Its outdoor patio is a great place for watching boats on the canal.
Di sini ada kota tua.
Ya, ini kan kota kedua. Amsterdam.
Enggak, kayak kalau di Jerman kan ada yang kota, ada yang di dalam kota itu pasti ada yang namanya kota tua. Itu tuh buat ya nggak tahu jalan-jalan. Yang pokoknya bangunan tua gitu.
We're now approaching the Waterloo Plain.
Bukan namanya.
It's located adjacent to the city hall, the large red brick building. The original Waterloo Plain was an island built in the 17th century to create a space for Jewish settlers. At the time, it was called Vloeienberg, for flooding island. Over time, the name morphed into Vlooienberg, for flea island, and the bustling market held here was called the flea market.
For centuries, Jewish traders sold their wares here. the market continues to operate and is now known as the largest flea market in the Netherlands.
Rumahnya banyak jalan.
Banyak. Zwanenburgwal.
View of the southern church with the white drawbridge. And this view was also being painted by the French painter Monet.
Biasanya itu jembatannya itu kebuka ya.
Biasanya kan
Bisa
kan nggak
diangkat.
tinggi-tinggi amat.
Enggak, kalau ada kapal kayak gini-gini kan tinggi. Jembatannya itu kebuka.
Itu kan ada kendaraan.
Ya nunggu ada kendaraan lah.
Ada palangnya.
Look at the group of very crooked houses. We affectionately refer to them as the dancing houses because they look like they're tilting and swaying to some happy tune. These buildings get their crazy tilts from the wooden piles that are supposed to be holding them up. The more the piles rot, the wilder the houses dance. The outward lean that you see on so many buildings is another story. It has nothing to do with rotting piles. The facades, or the faces of buildings, were intentionally built this way. In fact, a 16th century law put limits on how far a building could lean forward, lest it topple down.
Muter. Balik lagi.
Nanti kita kalau yang sudah selesai.
Rings. The
Kalau Papa
Herrengracht
maju,
was
Herrengracht.
innermost. The Kaisersgracht, or Emperor's Canal, was in the middle, followed by the Prinsengracht, or the Prince's Canal.
The wealthiest citizens, shipbuilders, merchants, investors, and politicians built elegant mansions on the Herrengracht. The Kaisersgracht was solidly middle class, while the Prinsengracht had a more industrial atmosphere. Of the three canals, the Prinsengracht was the only one that connected directly to the harbor, and its low sides were designed for loading and unloading cargo.
And so, the farther you lived from the city center, the lower your social class. Today, this would no longer hold true. All of the city center is expensive.
If you are curious how the rich merchants, the gentlemen, lived in the Golden Age, here on the right with the red banners we have the Willett Holthausen Museum, and you can see how the gentlemen lived in the Golden Age.
Museum. Age. Bisa kemasan. Abad keberapa?
don't forget to look to the right after the bridge. There is a beautiful decorated house with Archangel Michael killing a dragon.
Bukan bangunan-bangunan lama. Ini tuh bangunan lama tuh Bintara.
Ya di sini bangunan lamanya bagus-bagus.
Kan ada pelihara.
Di Jerman bener-bener tua. Ini nggak dipelihara. Nah yang gitu aja. Di sini lebih bersih gitu. Iya lebih rapi. Terus kayak mungkin direnov dikit gitu.
Iya di maintenance.
Itu kan bagus tapi masih kelihatan antik. Itu bagus. Jadi bukan wisata sih.
Get your camera ready. We're about to pass by one of the most photographed views in Amsterdam. The 7 arched bridges over Reguliersgracht, or Reguliers Canal. This beautiful and unique view of all 7 bridges at once can only be seen from here, on waters of the Herengracht. Our kind captain will be slowing down to give everyone a chance to catch a photo of this unique sight.
Blijft extra steeds die zit als het avonds.
While nobles ruled elsewhere in Europe, here in Amsterdam, it was the self-made merchants. During the 17th century, they were earning as much as 700,000 euros a month. That's more than the average rich person earns today. The wealthiest of the wealthy lived here, on the Herengracht.
Today, almost all of these mansions are used for business, as people can no longer afford to live in them. An exception is the city's mayor, whose official residence is at number 502 Herengracht. Look for the great facade with white columns just before the bridge.
The golden age of the 17th century was a stellar time for Amsterdam. From politics and the economy to arts and science, everything flourished. And the city was now the most important trade center in Europe. There are many reasons for Amsterdam's astounding success. It had the largest and most progressive shipbuilding industry in Europe.
Lavish section of all. Imagine going into one of these sumptuous homes. On the first floor, an elegant entrance hall with marble floors, high ceilings, and chandeliers. Mirrors were strategically positioned to create an illusion of even more space. And single-lot houses would often have a fake door on the side of the entryway to make them appear bigger than they were.
Rooms were richly decorated with painted wallpaper, oil paintings, fine sculptures, and exotics such as Turkish rugs and Persian silks. In the second half of the 17th century, Parisian furniture, Louis XVI style, was very much in vogue.
As a gentleman, you might join your host in a deep-colored smoking room. A lady, your hostess would receive you in a light blue salon or tea room. Here, you'd sip imported tea from China while looking out over a beautifully manicured garden. Musical concerts and grand parties were common, and each house had many rooms dedicated to entertaining. For a first-hand glimpse of life inside an opulent canal house, there are 2 wonderful museums in the area, the Hilvink in Lopenhaus and the Village Holthausen. Pass by these richly decorated canal houses. There's so much to notice. So many flourishes and details. Ornate door cases, sculptures, and of course the decorative gables at the roofline.
There are several different types of gables, and over the decades, they've gone in and out of fashion. See if you can spot them all. The oldest type is the spout gable. This basic triangular shape is seen only on warehouses. The 17th century step gable looks just as you'd expect, a series of steps. The neck gable, with its straight up and down sides and scrollwork decorations, came a bit later, followed by the bell gable, which has a more rounded, bell-like shape. By the 18th century, the cornice, a flat-top gable, was most popular.
There's one thing that all gables have in common: the hoisting beams. Staircases were so narrow and steep that furniture and goods were lifted to the upper floors via the hoisting. There's a strong tradition of moving things this way, as even newly constructed houses have narrow stairways and are still equipped with hoisting beams.
Until the 18th century, house numbers didn't exist in Amsterdam. Instead, people relied on gable stones. These carved and sometimes colorfully painted stones were set into a house's facade, often above the door. Pictures made reference to the occupant's religion, profession, or their family crest. For example, a butcher might have a picture of a lamb, a dentist might have a tooth, a miller, a windmill. Illiteracy is high, but such symbols were easy to understand.
As we ride along the canals, keep an eye out for gable stones. There are more than 650 throughout the city. As you find them, you can challenge yourself by guessing what they might mean.
You may have noticed that most of the city's houses are made of brick. That's because bricks could be made locally. They were very porous compared to bricks of today, and had to be oiled, tarred, or painted to protect them against the weather. You'll only see stone
Coba perhatikan yuk model rumahnya.
because it had to be imported, costing much more than brick.
Kayak ini semua kan, tuh model-modelnya.
For the shoppers among us, to the west or left of here is the unique shopping district
Ciri khas
called
Amsterdam.
Bergen Straatjes, or 9 little streets.
Tuh kayak
Each
gitu tuh.
street is a block
Tengah-tengah.
long and full of quirky boutiques and specialty shops. It's a relaxing and fun place to explore.
Dan bagaimana?
Now that there are house numbers, look for Keizersgracht number 123, also known as the House with the Heads. This beautiful Amsterdam Renaissance-style building of brick and sandstone is decorated with 6 beautifully sculpted heads. They're said to represent the Greek gods Apollo, Mars, Ceres, Minerva, Bacchus, and Diana. But legend has it that they symbolize the 6 thieves who once tried to break into the house. They were beheaded by a brave servant.
Itu number 123. Gedung lama ya. Iya ya, lagi belajar berenang.